Hi, this is Dr. Reverend Tami Patzer, and this is Guaranteed TV from the Daily Success Institute and TamiPatzer.com. And I thought that I would just take a couple minutes before we start to tell you a little bit about what Guaranteed TV is. I have been working in media, let's just say, for quite a few years now. I'm a former newspaper editor. I was a news director for a TV program, and I do publicity services, and I also do bestseller campaigns, as well as book my clients on TV tours, podcast tours, get them in magazines, newspapers, and I do press leverage campaigns. So I just wanted to give you a little teeny bit of background about who I am. Like I said, I have a lot of experience, and unlike many of the people who talk about media, I actually do have an educational background. I have a master's degree in mass communications and a PhD. And then, of course, I have that real life experience and more than 10 years of actually teaching at the University of South Florida in Tampa, where I got to see firsthand the media mash, the new media mash of old school TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, mash up against social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and now, of course, TikTok and all of the other media. So tonight, what I wanted to do is talk about pitching. What is a pitch? All a pitch is, it's like, hey, I want to be on your TV program. I have something that will be of interest to your viewers. Most television programs are aiming to stay at home people. And in this day and age, 2.5 years into COVID, that means it could be a much broader audience than it was before. But what is interesting to TV producers is what is going to be interesting to my viewers. What's going on in the world? What are the lifestyle segments? What's entertainment? What's educational? What do people care about today? So what I've done is I've gone out and I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about what the producers are asking me for, because what I've done is I've done all the legwork, all the hard work in the background to go find the producers and say, hey, if I bring you the right guests, will you have them on your programs? And the answer, of course, is yes, if you bring me the right guests. So with that in mind, I've put together this program tonight. And I thought, I love this little TV set. This is an old-fashioned TV set. I actually had a TV like this where you had your 13 stations and the U button, which I think that turned it over into a different frequency. You had I think it was the UVF and the B. I'm not even sure. I don't even want to go in there. But I'm really excited to share with you what to think about. Think differently. What is it that you do? You could be a coach. You could be a professional. I mean, there's so many different television opportunities. Maybe you're a cyber security expert. Maybe you're a coach, a life coach. Maybe you're a functional medicine doctor. Maybe you're a makeup artist. Maybe you sell products. Maybe you invented something. Maybe you work with animals. Maybe you're a dog trainer. Maybe you love cats. Maybe you do different things. There's Nobby. Hey, Nobby. I'm just getting ready to go into showing what we can talk about, and just to let other people know, Nobby's actually in Australia. So that tells me that he's either up early or up late or something. I'm not really 100% sure.
9 a.m.
It's what? 9
9
a.m.
a.m.
Okay, it's not too bad. So he's getting up.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yes, we're into the future. So it's already the 20th in Australia. So let me just go ahead. Like I was just talking about my cute little TV frame here. I liked that. So let me go ahead and I'll just go right into it. Let me go find the page I had found. So here we are. And again, a lot of these days may be in the United States, but sometimes I do come across other national holidays. So let's go ahead and take a look. I need to reduce this a little bit so that I can see it. Nabi, can you see what I'm showing for June? Okay, good. So again, these are days that are deemed holidays or special days. And of course, many of these are probably manufactured days, but some of them could be really good ideas if you are wanting to promote yourself on television and make it fun. And so depending on what your background is and who you are, some of these days could end up being something that you could hook your TV ideas to. Think about television segments as little moments of time. Most TV interviews are only 2 to 5 minutes long, so you do not have a lot of time. But if you use your time properly and make it entertaining and educational, so that's edutainment, you can, number one, get the attention of TV producers at different stations. And in the United States, and I'm sure in other countries, you have what would be local shows, which are typically catering to a local market. And then, of course, you have regional, you have national, and then, of course, international. And with television and the internet, it basically means that no matter where you are or what TV show you end up on, you'll actually be able to be watched on that television show. And you'll also be able to be seen anywhere around the globe because of the internet and these local markets. The biggest difference between a local TV show and, let's say, the Today Show or CBS This Morning or Good Morning America is that you're allowed to use your clip without any repercussions or copyright issues. They actually will say, yes, you have permission to use your interview for marketing purposes. And many people don't realize that when you're talking about these bigger shows, they don't give you those rights. You might be able to use like a photograph of yourself on or share it in a personal clip, but not out in public. So let's just go ahead and take a look at some of these. Okay, wear a dress day. Let's say Nabi. No, I'm just kidding. But wear a dress day, I was looking deeper into it, and that might be something that someone in the fashion industry could do, or if you're in the local brick and mortar, and let's say that maybe you had a clothing shop and you specialized in dresses, that's something. Go Barefoot Day, World Reef Awareness Day. Maybe you're someone who is tied to the environment. Dinosaur Day, World Milk Day, Global Day of Parents, Global Running Day. I actually reached out to a client who's going to have a running event in July. And I said, hey, you could get interviewed talking about running for this day, so that you'd have a link or a hook to the day, but then they could go and take that interview and promote their running event that's actually coming up in July. And I thought that that would be a good way to actually tie yourself into an event, even though your event isn't going to be for another month, but then she'd have that marketing tool with that interview. Intergenerational Day, Flip a Coin Day. I mean, National Hazelnut Cake Day. I know you're into sweets, Nobby. You could probably tie your fascination with sweets and your real business, which is related to finances, into something that would be a very unique, fun segment that viewers would enjoy, and then the TV stations would enjoy that. I once tied Quit Smoking Day to, which is in November, to a tax consultant, because cigarettes are taxed and the cost of smoking, and that actually got her booked, just tying Stop Smoking Day to a tax accountant, because then she was able to say how much money someone could save by quitting smoking. And so it just, it was a very unique segment. And she actually got a show in Tennessee, because Tennessee has very high cigarette taxes. So that was interesting. National Say Something Nice Day, Taylor's Day, Oscar the Grouch Day, Stand for Children Day. And this is a website called nationaltoday.com. And they actually sell services like for social media and things, but this still is a very good example. Oral Health Month. Okay, let's say that you're a dentist. You could easily tie dental health talk about dental health in June, and the producers would be very, they'll be listening in on that. Turkey Lovers Month is kind of interesting, because you would think Turkey Lovers Month would be in November in the United States for Thanksgiving, but who knows? Pride Month. So this would be a really good month if you're talking about LGBTQ awareness, to be on TV, because they're going to be looking for people to talk about that in different things. Rebuild Your Life Month. Let's say that you're a life coach. June could be a really good month in order to talk about your coaching. I actually, for Mental Health Month, I got someone booked coming up about productivity and stress just at the end of Mental Health Month. And it ties directly to her coaching business, but it's grabbing onto the hook of Mental Health Month. Sports, Women's Golf Month, World Infertility Awareness Month. That's something that could tie to a doctor, a medical doctor, a functional medicine doctor, scoliosis awareness, Professional Wellness Month, Safety Month. Aphasia Awareness Month. Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with aphasia, so somebody could hook onto that, and that is actually current in the news, because Bruce Willis it was just announced in the last month that he had aphasia, and so somebody in the health community could grab that, pull in that example, and there they are. They're the expert on that. African American Music Appreciation Month. Juneteenth, which was just made into a national holiday, which is like known as the African American or Black Independence Day, is coming up June 19th, which is a Sunday this year. But somebody could go on TV and have it air like on the Friday before, talking about Juneteenth, and it could help to position them as a Black leader if you chose. Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. Okay, you have a lot of health and brain awareness. I have a client who she talks about concussions. And so June would be the perfect month to be talking about Alzheimer's and brain health, or any type of things like that. Audiobook Appreciation Month. I think this one's a good one, because if you have a book or an audiobook, you could tie yourself to that and go on TV as an author talking about your book, and then maybe you have an audiobook and you could tie it to that. On International Women's Day, one of my clients just published one of her books, and they were celebrating because it was about women. And so in her clip, she actually said, International Women's Day is the perfect time for this book to have been published. And then it set it up as, it tied her book into the big month of for Women's Month. Beautiful in Your Skin Month. That's a good one. I actually have a client going on TV tomorrow, and her whole business is related to how it's called True Deep Body Worth, because it's all about how women don't see themselves as always worthy, because, they're not good enough, they're too thin, too fat, not pretty enough, all of the issues. So Beautiful in Your Skin Month would be a really good, another opportunity for her to say, hey, here's what I do. Black Lives Matter Month, Caribbean Heritage Month, Cataract Awareness, okay, that's eyesight. Child Vision Awareness. If there were doctors who were dealing with eyesight, that would be good. Effective communications. That is kind of almost anybody could tie themselves to effective communications, like you, Nabi, with your what you do to help people with their money, talking about money, communicating about money, communicating with your money. I mean, you could do something interesting with that. Fireworks, Great Outdoors, Accordion Awareness Month. I mean, some of these are just kind of funny things that you could attach. Adopt a Cat, camping, rivers, candy. Again, it goes to your sweet tooth. National Country Cooking Month. Again, most of these are American type holidays and months. Home Ownership Month. Again, home ownership ties to money. And like you, Nabi, with your ties with women and money, and women, money, home ownership, you could probably do a really nice segment related to how women might want to be homeowners and how that might tie to their money situation. National Men's Health Month. That is an open, think about it, anything related to men's health. It could be mind, body, soul. You could do all kinds of things with that. Again, migraine, headache awareness, oceans, pollinators month. Maybe somebody is into, gardening or bees, and they could tie in their business. Maybe they sell honey, and they could actually tie that in. National PTSD Awareness Month, again, mental health. There's any time that you can pick something, that's kind of a general topic, and then you can bring it in, that would be good. Roses, if somebody is doing something with roses. Moonshine Day, National Indian Citizen Day, Italy, Bubba Day, I Love My Dentist Day. So it was Oral Hygiene Month or Oral Health Month. And then you have an actual day for that. Ice cream, Rotisserie Chicken Day. And we're only on June 2nd on all these days. National Donut Day. Again, you can tie anything to any of these days. Cheese, Safe, Prairie Day, Old Maid's Day. Oh, that might be fun. But like I said, if you look at all of these different days, National Fishing and Boating Week, Hug Your Cat Day, Environment Day. And this is just literally, we've just gone through a few days here, Pet Appreciation. If you do some basic research about the topics surrounding what your expertise is, I'm sure that you can find different days that would make a good hook for whatever you're doing. Other things that you want to be looking at are, of course, your locality to some of the stations or what you're talking about. Anyone who's an author, I think you can pretty much tie yourself to anything in any month so that you could get some really good segments out. And the whole reason why you want to be on TV is for the authority, the expert status, the celebrity, and the credibility you get. The third person credibility is something that I think is really important. And I'm going to stop the share right now. But the third person credibility that you get from TV is probably some of the strongest credibility that you can borrow from other people. Or if you're talking to somebody interviewing you, or you're interviewing somebody with a lot of status. But let's keep it to getting the third person credibility from television stations. So let's say you're being interviewed on a Fox morning show or an ABC morning show, and they're asking you these questions. And of course, up on the screen, it'll typically say the name of the show, your name, and then there'll be a little teeny, they call them bugs, showing like it's ABC and then maybe the station identification number. And so they air it. Okay, so you were on TV for 3 minutes, one day, one time at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so you got that exposure, but where the real value, and I think this is important, and I want to emphasize it because a lot of people, they go, well, why would I want to be on TV in Arizona or in Fort Myers if that's not where my audience is? And so you have to step back and go, number one, you want to get on TV and practice on little stations before you attempt to go on big places, like on big TV shows or ABC, NBC Today Show, or any of those. But why you want to be on TV, and it doesn't really matter where it's at, because again, it's a moment in time. It's about that video. It's about that segment. It's about that clip, because now you have your 3-minute clip and they introduced you as, let's say they introduced you as the international best-selling author of, title of your book. You've got that little clip of that news anchor saying that about you. And maybe they said that you were the leading expert on something. It's really, they read off the teleprompter whatever it is that you sent to them to read about your background. So right there is your, what I call your $1 million bio, because if you give them the right bio to read, that you're the international best-selling author of, maybe you're the creator of a certain program, maybe you are a superstar of some sort. Whatever you write in that bio is what they say. So there you've got your clip there that you can use. Then, of course, you can take your screenshots of you on TV. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to go, like Nabi, you don't have to fly to the United States now in order to be on American TV. In the past, pre-COVID, you would have typically been, if you got booked on TV, they would say, okay, see you, and you would have flown over. And let's say it's in San Diego, which is, they actually have a couple stations there that will book guests. So you flew from Australia to San Diego. You had however long that takes, probably 2 days of flying. You have to stay in a motel hotel. You have to eat, and that would be thousands of extra dollars. Then you go and you get up, you go, you do your little 2-minute segment, you're in and out in like 20 minutes. And then it's like, oh, okay. But now it's Zoom, just like what we're doing here. You literally get booked, you show up, and you spend about the same amount of time, about 15 or 20 minutes, being interviewed, and they interview you. And the biggest obstacle or negative to a Zoom interview is that often you cannot actually see the host because of the way they do it. And so you're sitting there going, I'm looking at this little green dot, on my computer, and you can't see anything. You don't see any of the post-production. You don't see anything except yourself talking into the air. And that takes a little getting used to when you're not talking to anybody. And I've done it, and it felt very uncomfortable. Every one of my clients have done it. It's like they all go, it's so uncomfortable. And I say, yes, it's uncomfortable, but you're still being interviewed. Some stations, you can actually see the host and have a really good interaction with them. And it feels a lot better. But I always have to warn people that if that's the downfall of it, not being able to see who's interviewing you, I would say that is it. And I've even talked to the producers about it. And of course they just say, well, that's the way we do it, and there isn't anything that we can do. But I think that that's really important if you're interested in being on TV. And that's what COVID did for us. It literally means that now you can book nearly anywhere and be on TV, even if you're in Australia. All you'd have to do is account for the time for when they tell you to show up for that Zoom feed. So I think that's a really big thing. And one of the stations, for example, here's something else for June, and apply this not only to TV, but you could apply this to podcasts, newspapers, magazines. Television actually has a shorter lead time than, say, podcasts do, and certainly a shorter lead time than magazines, who have the longest lead time, and then newspapers can have a shorter lead time. But TV, they like to know maybe 2 weeks in advance, but if it's newsy, you could end up being contacted and be on TV like, hey, this is happening in the news. Can you hook up and talk? I actually was contacted a few years ago for a news feature when people were doing one of those challenges. And I was the social media person that they called, and they asked about, I don't really remember, because again, it was one of those situations where I couldn't see the reporter. They just were asking me questions and I was answering them for their news program. But morning shows are lifestyle shows, and they are basically going to be fun, entertaining. You can wear a costume, you can have props, you can just make it a fun conversation and very energetic, and tie it again to some of these days. But I was going to say back about June and what ABC in Tucson asked me about today. They said, we're looking for Father's Day gifts, Father's Day angles. That was one of the things that they liked. And then she dropped a little thing and she goes, oh yeah, and then every Tuesday we have a Tech Tuesday. And so a Tech Tuesday, that doesn't mean that you get interviewed on Tuesdays, just means that's the air date. So you could be interviewed any day of the week, but it would air on a Tuesday about tech. And I said, well, what does that mean? Well, it could be you talking about apps. It could be you talking about technical hacks. It could be anything that's related to social media. It could be anything that's kind of on text. So I'm going to unmute you or unmute yourself, Nabi. Could you do that? So you just, let's tell everybody, you wrote a book called Money, Honey. That's what I remember.
Yeah, there it is there. Want more money?
Money rules, want more money, honey. Okay, so of what you've heard so far, with what you're an expert in, what do you see yourself tying your potential interviews to?
Look, I think, especially with COVID, financial wellness is a very important thing, which goes across the board. So you could be talking to individuals, or you could be talking to employers about their employees. And then, of course, you could come back to the individual. You talk to women's groups, because there's a lot of women supporting women. So you could talk to the women's groups. But I think financial wellness, financial awareness. The reason I did what I did in producing my program was because women were always asking me the one question, which was wanting help with how do I manage my daily money, because they were running out of money before running out of month. And the problem is that wages had become stagnant. So they were expected to do more with less, but they didn't know how. And, I'd give them the usual answer, which was spend less than you earn and pay the highest interest debt first. But they understood what I said, but they couldn't see how it worked. And that was why I ended up creating my software program. And now they just go in and push a button. They put the information in, push a button.
Okay, so right there, you actually have software, i.e., you could make your segment fit one of those Tech Tuesdays.
Yep.
Because you have something that is considered tech because it's software. So the reason why, that's why I asked you that, is because I was like, okay, people sometimes need to hear a demonstration, and right
Yeah.
there is a perfect example of how you could literally tie yourself, even though you are a money expert helping women, into something where they're actually seeking technical guests for a Tech Tuesday program that is part of their every week. Like every Tuesday, they're going to want guests with something related to technical issues. So right there is a really good example of how you could weave it into that and be part of their special segment. So I wanted to go ahead and share again. Oops, let me see. Oh, okay. And Nabi also says that you've done radio interviews, so it's very much the same. So yes, and that is something, again, everything that I'm talking about related to what to pitch producers for TV can apply to podcasts, radio, newspapers, magazines, because they just do. And I just want to show that point here, just a second. I actually, this is Women's Day, and Women's Day is actually a women's magazine here in the United States, and this is what they posted on their website. And of course, think about a magazine. The magazines now, even though they have a magazine out on the newsstands that's physical, almost all physical magazines now have websites with content, which may or may not be exactly the same. It's probably not. But again, don't limit yourself to just TV, just podcasts, or just Audible things. Think about, oh, gee, I could write something, and that's a whole nother place to go for these online places. But here, Global Running Day, Love Conquers All Day, Donut Day. The Donut Day, you'd be surprised at how much you could tie to donuts, that has nothing to do with donuts. The World Oceans Day, Sewing Machine Day, Sushi Day, of course, Father's Day is coming up, Go Skateboarding, Please Take My Children to Work Day, and Meteor Watch Day. So those are just some other ones. And then the Today Show has a Today website, and you can actually apply to contribute to the Today Show website and write for them. But again, here they are with all of these gift ideas. And that was another thing. These are like what for technical gifts and everything. That's another thing that the ABC station told me, that they were looking for gift guides. So again, I'm trying to make this pretty broad for people, so that to open your mind up to the fact that, gee, there's all these opportunities out there, and it's a matter of, reaching out and coming up with something that is interesting. And again, all a pitch is really you saying, hey, I have this concept about something. And when you have a day or a month that you can hook your story to, just gives you something to make your pitch more interesting. That's what that's all about. And it's timely. And if you can, just make something very interesting with it, I think that's what you might want to do with that, is just go, how can I tie my story my business, whatever it is that you're wanting to talk about on television. And I just want to say the people I work with typically have a big message and a big mission. So it's not about the ego, because getting on TV, you don't have to go and be on hundreds of TV shows to use it for your marketing. And I always want to make that clear, because again, you're borrowing the third person credibility, and you're going to use your marketing clip to show people that you're the expert and that you are the authority. So I mean, I could show tons more of ideas for June, but I wanted to just show you generally what you could do and where you could go see it. So do you have any more questions?
Not from me, no.
Okay.
Always interesting.
Okay. Well, I'm always glad when you pop up, because of course we met, and it's amazing over the years how we've all grown and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and close it down for now, but I just want everybody to know, reach out to me. You can ask me any questions about getting on TV. And like I said, I call this guaranteed TV because I literally have gone out and talked to producers and said, what do you want? And they're now contacting me and saying, okay, we have, one opening on this date, for whatever, or we're looking for gift guides. We're doing this special Tech Tuesday. We're doing this, who do you have? And so I'm really excited, because it took me a long time to get these people to call me back. And that's the thing about it. And I think I will add that into this video. So let's say you want to do all this yourself, because a lot of people do want to do it themselves. So how would you do that? You literally would need to do your research, just like what I'm showing you about June, and you might be looking at July, the whole year of how could I tie my book, my business, my product, my program to something that is timely and in the news. And how would I do that? And you would do that research, and then you would come up with 3 to 5 talking points that would be of interest to a general audience in a morning TV program. So you could do some research by watching some of these shows and the types of interviews that they do. And then you would go and you would pick out some shows that you wanted to be on, and don't pick the biggest shows first. Pick local, smaller shows. And in the United States, you have 270 some markets and hundreds of TV stations to choose from, hundreds of radio stations, magazines. Just choose where you want to be. And then you go and try to find the producer of what they call the producer who books the guests. And then you reach out to them via typically email. Sometimes you can find a phone number and talk to them, but most of them want to be contacted via email. And you put together a real simple, short proposal telling them about your topic and why you're the person to talk about it. And that verbally would be how you would do it. And you just keep, if you're talking to them on the phone, picking, smile and dial is what they would call it, cold calling them. You would just do it until you got a human to talk to. And on emails, you would keep sending them the emails until you heard back. And you're either going to get, I guess, 3 answers. One is, I received it, I'm interested, let's talk. No answer at all, or they'll put you into the spam and delete you. And again, you just never know. Like it took me 2 months to get a hold of somebody at this one ABC station. And I finally called the general manager of the station, and he was out on the golf course. And I said, you know, I've been trying to contact somebody at your station for the past 2 months. I can't get any response. And not even the people that I knew there from the past. It turned out that they'd all quit during COVID. And so he goes, well, I'm on the golf course, somebody will reach out. Sure enough, the next day, somebody reached out, and that's how I finally got a hold of somebody. So with that, I want to thank everybody who came today, and I will put the replay up. And thank you, Nabi, for sharing your how you kind of viewed this and how you're going to use it. But again, what I really liked about what you said was the fact that you said, I created this software that will help women to literally push a button to help them with their money. And that actually ties in to Tech Tuesday. And a lot of TV shows have like Tech Tuesdays or Money Mondays, or they have different days where if you do the research, you can find out, oh, look, I could fit it right into what they're already doing. Pick me. And it could be that easy just to have them pay attention to you, to say, oh, look at that. And you're an author. So you've got everything you want. So everyone, again, this is Dr. Tami Patzer, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nabi. Thank you, everybody.